This is Big Tony Ragu at Food Adventures of Big Tony Ragu. We're here live at Torrance, California at the Alpine Village. They're having a special truck festival here today on Wednesday. It's been going on now for the last 2 weeks. And if you want to hear a little bit more about it, you can check Twitter. I'm going to be talking with the owner of Cafe Con Leche. His name is Gabriel. And Gabriel's going to talk a little bit about his food, the menu, a little bit of the concept of the what they call the Cafe Cuban mobile that you can find them on Twitter. How you doing, Gabriel?
How are you? How are you doing today?
Great. Gabriel, why don't you talk a little bit about the truck? How did you come up with this concept?
Well, I was living in California about 1.5 years ago, and I had to go back to Miami for personal reasons for a few months. And after being here so long, for 4 months, I couldn't get Cuban coffee the way I really wanted it, the way that I really, missed the Cuban food the way it was in Miami. And so when I went back to Miami, I decided to put together a Cuban version here. And then when I got here, it was about the trucks. But when I was in Miami, I ran into my very good friend, Francisco, and who is an amazing chef, Chef Frankie. And we basically talked about it, and I said to him, why don't you come to LA and let's develop this Cuban food truck that doesn't exist at all. So he finally showed up, he came here, we both developed it, and he worked on the menu, put the food together. He's brilliant. And everybody basically loves his food. He's done an amazing job, and I do the coffee because, I have to.
Well, I can tell you personally, I've tried your menu, and wonderful. Actually reminded me of going to some of the older Cuban places in Miami myself,
right.
Which I have frequented in the years. So definitely have a great food concept.
Thank you.
Talk about the dishes now. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the 2 different dishes you have here.
Well, what's happened in terms of developing the menu, Chef Frankie, he's put together various items off the cuff. He's extremely creative.
So what's the dish on the left here we're looking at?
Well, this is a dish that's basically an empanada, which he's become very renowned for. He makes the empanadas fresh on the truck. And this particular one is guava and cheese, goat cheese. Imagine that. And it's amazing. People love this taste.
Looks delicious.
It's amazing. Amazing what he's done. I mean, everything on the menu he's just put together like that. And but it's authentic. The point is that it's authentic, it's made at home. And that's what the feeling is. And people love the empanadas. We just can't get enough of them. So
I notice you're holding something here on the right. What's that dish?
Oh, well, this one is one of our primary sandwiches. Of course, it's the Cuban sandwich. It has pork, shredded pork, which is we make ourselves, ham, Swiss cheese, pickles. Let me see if we get a better view in here.
I'm getting hungry.
You got it? You're getting look
oh,
good,
yes.
good. That's the idea. That's the idea. And we get the pickles, mustard, and Swiss cheese. And of course, it's grilled, as it says on the menu, to perfection. Here on Cuban bread. So you can see that, right?
Absolutely.
And the most interesting thing is that the way he makes the sandwiches, most of the time, if you go to a Cuban restaurant and they say, I want a Cuban sandwich or anything like that, they usually use a presser that you put on like a grill. What would you say? It's a
sandwich
presser, yeah. That you put the sandwich and you just press it down. And what he's done, being on the fact that we're in the truck, he's made it he's going back to the beginning of where, how people made sandwiches. So he uses a weight, which is amazing. I think he's going to get a weight right now. Maybe he can stick it out the window so you can see it.
Okay.
And here he is. He's coming with the weight now. Okay. And this is the way that he would make this sandwich. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. We almost spilled the whole thing, so we would have blew our whole shot.
That's okay.
So anyway, this is the way. I'm going to put this down for a moment. Imagine, it's hot. So anyway, this is the weight that he uses. I mean, he just basically goes back to the beginning of the way people really make sandwiches. It's a very artisan way of doing it, and he just puts it on and presses it. And
so everything's done by hand as opposed to an automatic press.
Everything's
very good.
Everything. So it's become amazing. I think that's the difference with the taste of the sandwich is the way that he does this on all the sandwiches, and they're all made of Cuban bread. So
awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and talk with Chef Frankie here in just a moment. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk to Chef Frankie here. Well, this is Big Tony Ragu, and we're here with Chef Frankie. He's also the co-owner of Cafe Con Leche. And we're going to talk a little bit about the menu and concept that Gabriel, who also is a co-owner as well of Cafe Con Leche, and Chef Frankie came up with. Chef Frankie, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
All right. Well, let me ask you a question. How did you come up with the menu? What was the concept behind the Cafe Con Leche menu?
Well, my good friend Gabriel, he, of course, is Cuban. He's been living in Los Angeles for a while. And then, he saw there was a need for Cuban, good Cuban food. Okay, so he told me about it. I lived in South Beach for a while, and then he had the idea of doing Cuban coffee. So me being in the restaurant business for like 20 years, you know, I put together a Cuban menu, but that adapted to the LA people. You know, because for example, like I have a special sauce that's got tapatio in it. Okay, and people love tapatio. And also I cook with plantain, with yuca. All those are Cuban, you know, Cuban dishes or Cuban.
So you stay true to the Cuban tradition as far as the ingredients, the herbs, and spices.
The mojo. I cook with mojo and naranja agria, which is the main Cuban seasoning for all the stuff that Cubans do.
Very cool. Now I noticed you got two dishes that you're holding up that I know you just made a few moments ago. Talk about this dish here on the left here. What is that?
This dish is called Ya Tu Sabes. It's a grilled plantain, right, over Swiss cheese, over a bed of lechon,
Looks delicious.
Which is pork, pulled pork that I marinated with mojo and naranja agria, and then I put tomato, the special sauce, and then I have a lime so people can put lime on it, you know, as they wish.
Now, do you make this dish in other forms beside the one that you're showing?
No, this dish came about because I ran out of Cuban bread. So I didn't know what to do in the moment. So I grabbed a plantain, I grilled it, I put stuff on top of it, and then people just loved it. It's not even on the menu. This dish just people know about it that really knows the truck and know, you know, our food.
So kind of the secret menu behind the menu.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now on the right here, what are you holding up?
This is a Manolo. It's a classic Manolo sandwich, which is of course Cuban bread, the steak, grilled onions, the chips that I use, tomato, and Swiss cheese, and a special sauce.
Looks delicious.
You know, that's our one of our main sandwiches besides the Cuban sandwich.
Okay.
And everything is grilled to perfection, as you can see.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, and I noticed you guys carry, you know, beside cafe, you also carry, I guess, different sodas from Cuba.
This is what we drink in Miami, really. It's Hachue, Malta, Materva, and Jupiña. Of course, we also got Coco Solo and Iron Beer.
Very cool. Well, I know that Gabriel's actually making up some cafe, which is kind of, you know, the namesake of your business. So yes. I think we'll wait a few moments and talk to Gabriel a little bit on the coffee side. Thank you for sharing everything with people as far as about your truck, your food, and your culinary skills. Go without saying, the food is incredible and amazing.
You're welcome, Tony. Thank you so much for being here with us.